Hello, I'm Hassan. New section, new story. Send blessings upon the Prophet before we start. I haven't posted for a few days because I received an important call on Sunday, which required me to travel. The call came at noon while I was at the airport, and I shared everything on my Snapchat. For those who haven't added me on Snapchat, you missed out on the events. My trip was to Riyadh, and thank God I finished my work in 3 days and returned to you with a new story. Before we start today's story, you should know that today's story is actually several stories. It's about a young man who is imprisoned and is now sharing stories with us. Today's story is very interesting. Enjoy. The protagonist of our story today is named Saeed. You should know that I got this story from a website, and I have no contact with the storyteller. The storyteller says, "My name is Saeed, and I was imprisoned for 6 months." Before I begin, I hesitated a lot in writing my story. My journey from the peak of success to the bottom, and trying again to climb back to the top. I was a certified trainer in neuro-linguistic programming, chronic therapy, and positive hypnosis. I had my own company, and suddenly I found myself in a cell, facing a real test of trust and experience. I learned amazing things in those 6 months that I had learned my whole life. 6 months where I tested my identity, my mentality, my emotions, my values, and my principles. In the beginning, I stood in a training hall in front of 60 trainees at universities. Since most of them knew me, I walked in and was caught in front of them all. I won't tell you the reasons, but I admitted that I made mistakes to some extent in identifying what I was being held for. I was tense. I felt like I wanted the ground to swallow me. I pretended to speak with confidence and steadiness, but everything was collapsing. All eyes were on me. Everyone was astonished. In moments, I saw a reel of my life passing before me as if I were in a grave. I remembered my studies, my friends, and I rode in the famous Jeep for the first time in my life. They were all looking at me with questions. I reached the investigation office, and I felt like a scared child. Minutes passed, and the armed forces came, took me, and handcuffed me. I boarded a bus with more than 50 people who were temporarily imprisoned. My features were beautiful, but inside, there was a volcano of fire in my head. I forgot everything I had learned: patience, calmness, thinking rationally. I didn't remember anything at that moment except that I was just a common person. I stripped myself of everything, just a human being. I tucked myself into a small corner with my back against the wall. I thought, and a thought took me. I decided to surrender to the confession. I began to feel a little relief and thought to myself that I needed to account my heart and mind for everyone around me. Each one of them had knowledge I didn't know. I started getting to know the people around me in prison. I was looking for someone who might benefit me or from whom I could learn something. There was an older man, around 60, lying on his side and not talking to anyone. I thought for sure this person was a sea of experiences. I decided to start. I took some juice and approached him. His gaze was direct, full of anger towards me. I didn't smile or frown. I was scared. I was sitting in my corner a bit away from him. I handed him the juice, and he asked me, "What's this?" I replied, "It's juice." He said, "But why?" I said, "Because I felt comfortable with you, and I wanted to distance myself from the annoying people." He took the juice, and I thought to myself, "You're the chosen one, and your place here is very suitable, far from everyone." He looked at me and said, "I didn't take this place. I took it by force and violence." He said he got into a fight with a group of young men here and managed to take the place. I said to him, "God bless you. I admire you." I began to get closer to him and tried to get him to start